Hey guys, welcome back to the shop for another week of Saturday Night Special. And before I begin, I want to give a little thought to all my viewers out on the East Coast that is going to be dealing with this, what looks like it's going to be a devastating hurricane, Hurricane Florence, which at the time of filming this is headed towards the East Coast. And by the time this thing airs, this video, it's probably going to be hitting the U.S. Looks like it's going to be a major storm and going to cause a lot of major damage along the East Coast. So I'm thinking about you guys over on the east side. I know what it's like to go through a very bad hurricane. I've been through several myself. Worst one being Hurricane Ivan in 2004 when it came through Pensacola and absolutely destroyed this town. So it looks like wherever this thing ends up hitting is going to cause some major devastation, just like Ivan did. So I really feel bad for you guys, and I wish everybody the best in going through this storm. I'm going to be thinking about you. I'm going to be watching the news whenever it hits, and I just really hope that everybody pulls through the storm okay, because I know it's going to be a rough one when it hits. So as far as the content that I've got to share with you this week, it's going to be another mix-up, all kind of different things. I've got some video from my day job, some different projects I've worked on. I'm going to throw those in there to the mix. I've got another component that I made on the 3D printer, something for the shaper. It's another thing that I'm experimenting with and playing with. It's not something that's going to be an end-used item. It's just playing and experimenting. Matter of fact, the part that I print out is going to be, there's going to be another version. I just haven't got around to printing it yet, but we're going to do it again because I've made some modifications on the model to improve the style of it. But anyway, I'm going to throw that into this mix. And I've got an update on the K&T mill. I've got some parts to share with you. We got some more videos coming out real soon. So we're going to get to that and show you and tell you what's going on with that electric motor. And then the big news for this video this week is going to be our Machinery's Handbook giveaways. So we've got our 4 Machinery's Handbooks. I'm going to get to these and let you know who they were donated by. And of course, our 28th edition was given to us by KBC Tools. We've got 2 of them. That includes the CD-ROM and the Machinery's Handbook guide. And I was, again, overwhelmed by all the people that had submitted their entry to hopefully win this book. And it took me between 2 and 3 hours to put all those names in my computer and compile a list. But it's really fun to be able to take something like this and give it away to some of your viewers. Man, there was a lot of emails. I put in almost 100 entries in addition to what I had already put in there. So all I did is I took all those names just like I did the first time in order and just kept making the list. And I forget what I'm down to, but it's around 150 or 160 names on that list now. So I decided we're going to go ahead and we're going to give away all 4 of these books in this episode. And I've got a couple more coming. I don't have them yet, but there's 2 more in the mail. And just some more viewers stepping up that's got these books and like what's going on here. So they're sending them to me, and then I'm going to pick a name, draw a name to send them to. All right, so we're going to be getting to that probably towards the end of the episode. We'll start giving away our Machinery's Handbooks, and I wish everybody luck that entered. I do have I've got some new acquisitions. I got some new tools over here that I have picked up recently, some cool stuff for the shop, and I've also got one viewer gift that I'd like to share with you too, okay? So over the past weekend, I was over at Abby's and I was kind of scouring Craigslist there to see if there was any good tools to pick up, and I found two items that I want to share with you that I had picked up. And the first one is this guy right here, 24-inch crescent wrench. And we talked about this last week on the episode. I had mentioned my dad's 18-inch crescent wrench right here. You can see the size difference between the two there. And this kind of had been brought up because of Mr. Pete sharing his stash of adjustable wrenches, and he has one that's bigger than the 18-inch right there. So when I seen this thing pop up on Craigslist right down the street from where I was at, and I did not have to pay a whole lot of money for it either, I went and got it. So this is a handy thing to have around. You never know when you're going to need it. It's good for a lot of different things, not just turning a nut. You can move plate with it, put it on big pieces of plate, and use it as a handle. And I had another viewer that gave me a good idea, something I never even thought about. You can do the same thing where put it over here on a plate. All right, and now you've got you a rest. If you're doing some welding or something like that by a table, you can use this as a prop and hold your arm up. It's just something that's never dawned on me. So, you know, I'm always picking up some good tips from viewers and other YouTube creators the same. So just a nice little tool to add to the collection. And I wanted to mention that last week, whenever I had shown this 18-inch crescents, I had said 18-inch rigid, when in fact I was correct, because I've got another one hanging over there. Both of these were my dad. They're the same exact wrench, except one's a crescent and then the other one says rigid, and that's why I had said rigid. So anyway, I like having my dad's tools, but it's always nice adding to the wrench collection around here too. And since we're on the topic of these wrenches, I just wanted to go ahead and show you that these are identical wrenches right here. One being a rigid brand and one being a crescent, both of them the 18-inch. The Rigid Tool Company. They're both as identical, same thing. So it looks to me like these wrenches here were made on the same line, and they had one die that stamped the name here, and you know, they had just different makes that they would put in there. But I believe that this one was Dad's first one, because he told me that he bought this probably way back whenever he was first getting into the shop, the machine shop, and he actually ground this jaw. You can see it looks kind of used, but I remember him telling me that he ground it, and I think it was because he was needing to fit this to a size nut that was just out of range of this thing. So that's what's unique about this particular wrench, is he ground both of the jaws there. But two identical wrenches that belong to my dad, and I sure enjoy having these things around here. So this guy right here is the second score that I had gotten over the weekend, what I found off Craigslist. And what this is it's just a hook scale. And when I say a hook scale, it's for weight. This is for weighing things, and it's good for 5,000 pounds. Made by Sherline, made in USA. And what was really fun about this purchase right here is that the seller, Mr. Dan Powell is his name. He didn't know who I was whenever I was texting him about meeting him to pick this thing up. And whenever I showed up, it was actually really late Sunday night, because I had to leave, you know, to come back home to go to work. He met me late, and when I pulled up, it was dark at his house, but he met me out there. And when I introduced myself as Adam Booth, he couldn't believe that it was me. And he says, "I know who you are. I watch all of your videos." And he said, matter of fact, I was watching some of those earlier. So he was very thrilled that it was me that pulled up to buy this scale from him. And he was very nice. Dan, I really appreciated meeting you and showing me your shop, man. He's got one heck of a nice shop there at his house. He's been retired, he says, for 12 years, and he's got a nice workshop there where he does mainly woodworking, but he's just started getting into metalworking here recently, and he watches my videos, and he's got several guys out there on YouTube that he watches, and he's got a couple really nice lathes, very clean. I've got a couple pictures I'll share on the screen there so you can see. He's got a South Bend that he says got all the original paperwork that came with it from the factory. And then his other lathe is an Atlas that he has kind of restored. He said that it was all rusted up and he found it under a tree. And he's got it all cleaned up and is using it, and he is learning how to do machine work now. But anyway, I struck a deal with Dan over this scale right here, and I thought that this would be another handy tool to have around here, mostly for fun, you know, because how many times do you guys ask me, hey, what does that weigh? Whenever I'm machining something, or maybe a machine comes in here or whatever. Well, now we got something that we can use to weigh some items around here as long as it's under 5,000 pounds. So I just thought it was a good opportunity to pick this thing up. It hasn't been used. He says the person that he acquired this from said that they bought it and then they never used it, and then he ended up buying it with some other stuff at this other place. So it's just a simple hydraulic cylinder inside here, and as you apply pressure on it, it's going to tell you your weight reading out here on this gauge. So just another cool tool for the shop. And Dan, it was good to meet you again, and thanks for hooking me up, man. Cleaned it up to 2.5 inch, making my second pass through there. You can see where I just skinned it out. So another recent tool acquisition that I just got in is this nice 72-inch rule made by LS Derrick. And I bought this from my friend Jack Hoying. I've mentioned him several times. He's got a website where he buys and sells used machinist tools. So I'll make sure that I have his link in the video description down below in case you guys are interested in looking at some of his tools. But anyway, this kind of had got brought up because he messaged me and said that he had a 72-inch rule there, and it had my name on it. He'd been sandbagging, holding back for a while, but he offered it up to me at a very, very reasonable price, and it's in really good shape. Try to get it in there so that you guys can see. And on this end down here, I don't know why these numbers are red. I don't know if that's something that somebody has done along the way, but it's only for a few numbers there. I don't know if that's original Starrett either, but it's in really good shape. It is a 4R scale, so you have your 16th, 8th, 32nd, and 64th graduations on it. So I'm going to do a little bit of polishing on it just to kind of brighten it up a little bit more, but it is in really good shape. And these are very handy to have for many uses around the shop, not just measuring how long something is, but you can use it as a straight edge. There's really all kind of things. You never know when you're going to need one. So Jack, thanks for hooking me up with a good deal. I really appreciate it. And I've got something else that Jack has sent. It is a viewer gift, and we're going to get to that next. sure it fits here. Like it was machined for it. So Jack, being the master woodworker that he is and master cabinet maker, he has made me a very cool picture. You know, he's done all the woodwork here himself, and a very, very nice quote right here by Thomas Carlyle. There's the back of it. And this is just a gift from Jack, you know, something that he did I wasn't expecting and he sent along. So let me read this to you. Man is a tool-using animal, weak in himself and of small stature. Nevertheless, he can use tools, he can devise tools. With these, the granite mountain melts into light dust before him. He needs glowing iron, as if it were a soft paste. Seas are his smooth highway, winds and fire his unwearying steeds. Nowhere do you find him without tools. Without tools he is nothing. With tools he is all. Thomas Carlyle. Very nice, Jack. Thank you very much. This is going to go in my office with my other pictures. I really appreciate it. Beautiful woodworking that you have done on the frame. I really like it. Thank you very much. Hey guys, welcome back to the office. I'm starting on the actual G&E cam plate this time. Now that I've got the print figured out, I wanted to go ahead and start shooting some video on it. So I'm going to also get another time lapse of it and see if we can see the whole print from this point on anyway. I've already made two attempts on the cam plate, and that's what these guys are right here. Got this and this. That'll be looking at the very back of the cam plate from the back of the shaper that way. And the reason why I have these right here is because I wanted to verify the slot width right here that actually goes on the square bar on the side of the machine. It needs to fit over that, which is it's a 1-inch bar, and it measures around 0.995 inches. And the original cam plate that I measured, they have about 5 thousandths over. So 1 inch 5 thousandths is what this is supposed to be right here, so that you've got enough clearance that it slides on there. The first one that we started, let me see, it was actually this one that I started. So after it got to about that point, I stopped it so that I could measure this and make sure that it was going to clear. And I'm glad that we stopped it, because it's actually only measuring 0.975 inches. So it wouldn't have been big enough to fit over that square bar right there. I would have had to mill it. So we tweaked the drawing again, the model, and did another little sample print here and stopped it. And this time we're measuring, it's about 6 thousandths over 1 inch. So that's right in line of what the original is supposed to be, or what the original is today. So I think we're gonna have a good print, and Alan has helped me get the model to look more like the original piece with radiuses and things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and let this thing run today. Today's Sunday, and I'm just editing some videos. I've got the Kamado Joe going out there with some pork on it, and I want to get a print done. Just kind of enjoying my day. I've got another day off tomorrow, which is Labor Day, and I'm going to be doing more of this tomorrow. Just trying to enjoy the day off, get some video editing done, and maybe even some more printing. While we're on the subject of the 3D printing, I want to go ahead and show you something that a viewer has given to me. So we've got some filament here from my viewer Justin Enger, and he is from Dickinson, North Dakota. All right, he's also got a couple little widgets in here that he has printed that he finds useful. But this is just a sampling of different color filament right here. Got all kind of different colors in there, and he says it's also, you know, handy to have something like this if you just gonna run like a small part and you want a different color. You can still use that right there. So thank you, Justin, for that. This is PLA, by the way. He's also sent a brand new box of PLA filament, and this is white in color. Okay, very nice. And then these are his little gadgets right here that he prints out. So these guys is what you use on the 1/4-inch hex drive for, like, you know, drill motors, the attachments that you put in a drill motor, screwdriver tips, things like that. And he makes up these little guys right here, and says it's very handy sometimes just to stick the little screwdriver tip in there and just have a little hand wheel right there. So thank you very much, Justin. That's very cool. It looks like he's even got a magnet down inside there, so I'm not sure how he does it. I think he prints it hollow and then puts the magnet in there and then presses a little cap in on the top. That's what it looks like to me. So thank you. Very cool, Justin. Alrighty, so there's the original. Here's the bar that it's supposed to fit on. Looks like a perfect match. There we go. Now I'd suggest making a washer to go between the plastic and the bolt right there. Wow, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and we'll take this one off, and let's go ahead and move this thing up and get it set in line there and see it actually work for real. Man, that's pretty cool. We'll go ahead and engage the feed. Just doing its thing. Well, I think we had a successful print there, and we actually have a functional part that we could use on the machine if we wanted to. So just bear in mind, this stuff right here, I mean, this right here is just, we're just playing around. We're just having fun. We're testing the printer out, and we're testing what our capabilities are out here in the shop for making some prototype parts, things like that. But I mean, the realistic thing is that you could use this if you needed to. But we had discussed maybe doing another design on this, utilizing the 3D printer for, you know, it's using the plastic and actually designing it so that the top piece here is replaceable. So it would be a separate 3D printed part that will go on there that will actually bolt in there. You'll have some threaded inserts that will press into the main housing, and then you could just print these wear plates off and replace them as needed. And I'll grab the other one so I can show you. You know, on the original steel, you have wear. Just this one showing it right there. This was the used one that I got, and you can see they came in there and they brazed it up. And this works as a good bearing surface there. You can see where the pawl on my machine is actually cutting into it a little bit. So it's just a wear surface, but you don't use it enough to really worry about having to fix that very often. But we thought it'd be pretty cool to be able to make this as a, you know, the top piece of that replaceable. So that might be something that we look into playing with a little bit down the road. And also the material itself would need to be a little different as well. This probably wouldn't be very well for an actual usable part, although you can use it. We talked about using something on the lines of like a nylon that has, you know, that's more slick than this, and has a little bit more wear characteristics needed in a part like this. So anyway, I'm happy with it, just having fun again, and really cool to see that we can make something, a prototype for the machine if we wanted to, using the 3D printer. So this is a 6-inch bore hydraulic cylinder that I've been building at work completely from scratch. The barrel, the rod, gland, and piston. And the rod that you seen me line boring earlier, that's that same rod right there for the cylinder, and also facing the tube and having the machine the threads on it for the cap. But this was a cylinder that was completely destroyed. The rod was messed up, the eye, the barrel was scored. So the customer requested a new cylinder be built. And this isn't something you can just buy off the shelf. It's custom made for the machinery. So they had us build a new cylinder. And I've got these pictures here just to show the build. And we've got it tested. And I've got some videos to share of us pressure testing it up to 3,000 PSI. And we had no issues. We had no leaks around the welds or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and get to that now. Alright, so here's our hydraulic cylinder build. We got it going together and starting to test it. We haven't got it up to full pressure yet. We just started stroking it in and out, getting the air out of it. And then that there is just the threads around the fitting. We don't have any thread sealing on that. That's just a straight fitting. Alright, so I think we're going to go ahead and bring it on up to about 3,000 and see what it does. So this is our retract pressure, bouncing right around 3,000 right now. So here's our extend pressure at 3,000. Got her fully extended, and you can see it drifts around the threads there. That's no big deal, but what we want to know is our welds are good, no leaking around the fitting weld either. This thing is good. We just got to do a bypass check. There's our Sharpie mark that we put on there. Got it under load, it's not moving. So our piston is sealing properly the way it should. We're going to go ahead and start working on the Machinery's Handbook giveaway here. And I want to go ahead and mention where these first two books or who they belong to, the men that donated these things. So the 11th edition right here, the viewer that sent this in wished to remain anonymous. He says he didn't want recognition. He wanted his father to be recognized for this handbook. This was his, and before he had passed away, he had given it to his son, and his son said that he doesn't think that he needs this book, so he wanted to forward it to somebody out there that wants one, that needs one, and that can use it. So this 11th edition Machinery's Handbook used to belong to Mr. Charles H. Kirchner, and he was from Jamestown, Rhode Island, and unfortunately he passed away in 2004. And he was a master craftsman. He was not a master machinist. He said he was a master craftsman, but used this book and enjoyed it and passed it along to his son whenever he was done with it. So Mr. Charles Kirchner is the one who donated this book to whoever is going to receive it, and I look forward to picking a winner to forward this thing along to. All right. And our next one is the 25th edition Machinery's Handbook, and this one was sent in by Chris Strawn from Casa Grande, Arizona. And again, he wanted to forward this to somebody that could use it and that would want it and appreciate it. So we're going to pick a winner for this one too. And then again, we've got our last two, Machinery's Handbook 28th edition, that has the CD-ROM with it, and also the Machinery's Handbook Guide. So this is a package deal. There you can see the KBC tools right there. So somebody's going to get this lot right here. And then we've got one more. Same thing. The plastic's been taken off this one right here, but you got the same package there. The book, the CD-ROM, and the Machinery's Handbook Guide. All right, so very kind of KBC Tools to donate these things and give them away. So let's go ahead and start picking our winners for these books. Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and get into our Machinery's Handbook giveaway. All right, let's go ahead and what we're going to do, I've already got the, all right, so here's my list of names, and I've already got another tab started, and we're going to be using the random.org. I know that you can use this right here. It's just one from Google, but I would rather use this one right here. And we used it last time, so we're going to use this one again. All right, so let's go back to our list of names. There was actually quite a bit of guys that got a kick out of seeing their name on the list. So the list is just as before, and now we have added quite a few names to this list right here. I forget where we stopped at before, but it was right around this area right here that we had stopped. And now look at all these names on here. There are a couple guys that I've got on there, like for 28th only. There was a couple guys that said that they would be more interested in the 28th edition to have the CD-ROM versus the older one, so I put that on their names. All right, and you keep on going down, man. The list just keeps on going. We got 160 entries on this. All right, so we're going to bring that back to the top, and we're going to go to our random.org. And so we've got, let me double check again, we've got 160 entries. 160. So let's come up here. We already got one. 60. I'm sorry, not 60. We want 160. There we go. Okay, so our first one is going to be for the 11th edition from Mr. Charles H. Kirchner. All right, so let's go ahead and pick our winner for that one. We're going to hit generate. Number 6. Who is lucky number 6? That is going to be Matt Kotesk. Is that how you say your name, Matt? Let me go ahead and write that down right here. All right, Matt, you're the winner of the 11th edition Machinery's Handbook. Congratulations. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We are going to do now the 25th edition from Chris Strawn. All right, all we got to do is just hit generate again, and it's going to populate another number. So here we go. Number 4. Okay, that's going to be Dennis Reardon. All right, Dennis, congratulations. You are the winner of the 25th edition Machinery's Handbook. I'm getting your name wrote down right here. All right, go back to our random.org, and let's go ahead and pick the next one. And this is going to be for one of the 28th editions, the group that's got the CD-ROM and the guidebook that goes with it. All right, so we're going to hit generate and pick another winner. 114. All right, let's go to our list. 114, and that is going to be Chris Everard. Congratulations, Chris. You are the winner of one of the 28th edition Machinery's Handbooks donated by KBC Tools. All right, let's go back, and we've got one more to do. So we are going to pick again for another 28th edition from KBC Tools. Let's go ahead and do that now. Here we go. Number 10. Boy, it's liking the top of that list this time, isn't it? All right, so that is going to be Elbert Weinberger. Elbert, congratulations. You are the winner of the 28th edition Machinery's Handbook package from KBC Tools. All right, so I hope everybody enjoyed that giveaway there. It's quite fun to be able to have something like this and give back to a few of you guys and be able to draw a name for these winners. So I've got all the names wrote down here, the 4 winners, and I've actually got their emails printed out too. So I thought it'd be fun to actually share their email entry into this book giveaway. So our first winner was, for the 11th edition, is Matt Kotesk for the 11th edition right here. And this is the one that was donated by Mr. Charles H. Kirchner. All right, this is a very, very nice book. So let's see what Matt had to say in his email. So, hi Adam, been watching your channel for over a year now. Love the turning work on all the gearbox shafts you do. Great job. I do not have a machinist handbook and I've always wanted one. Just saw you were offering it in your latest videos. Sometimes I don't feel like a machinist because I don't have this book. Anyways, let me know, Matt. So there you go, Matt. Now you're going to have your very own Machinery's Handbook. Okay? All right. So we'll put that one aside. All right. And our 25th edition that was donated by Chris Strawn out of Casa Grande, Arizona. And that winner is Dennis Reardon. Okay? So Dennis Reardon is from Spokane, Washington. And he says, the guy in the back of the class sticks his hand up and says, sure would appreciate that book, Adam. All right, Dennis. So congratulations. You got the 25th edition coming your way. All right. So our third winner for one of the group lots here of the 28th edition Machinery's Handbook, donated by KBC Tools, is Chris Everard. All right, so let's see what Chris has to say. Now, Chris did not disclose, I'm sorry, he did. Okay, so let's check out what Chris had to say. Hi, Adam. I was hoping that you could add my name for the next round of Machinery's Handbook giveaways. I have a small shop here in Western Maryland where I build antique rifle locks. Right now, I'm in the process of moving from my basement shop into a new shop that used to be my carport. I'd really appreciate a chance at one of these handbooks. Thanks for all that you do for the machinist community. We're all very glad that you are ABOM 79, not Avon 79. All right, Chris, congratulations on the win, and you got the 28th edition package coming your way. All right, and so for the last 28th edition group by KBC Tools, and that goes to Elbert Weinberger. And Elbert, I hope that's how you pronounce that, Weinberger. So, and Elbert is from New Orleans, Louisiana. All right, so let's see what Elbert has to say in his email. Adam, I feel honored to even write to you, and I am certain that I am not the first to request this book. Nevertheless, if you do read this, I would like to say that you have become quite the auteur. I looked up the word auteur, I think that's how you say it, and the definition had something to do with a filmmaker that is so recognized and well known that they are considered the author of that film. So that's pretty cool. I am the owner of a mid-sized construction company and an avid piddler, and would love to have that book in my personal shop. I enjoy every one of your videos, and I hope you keep them coming as long as you're having fun with it. I play them in my shop while I'm working, and I always learn something new. Thanks, Elbert Weinberger. All right, Elbert, thank you for the email there, and congratulations on winning the 28th edition Machinery's Handbook donated by KBC Tools. All right, so in addition to these handbooks, I am going to be giving each one of you guys a little 3D print of the ABOM 79 logo. I've been printing out a few of these things on the 3D printer, just having some fun, just for giveaway type stuff, just like this. So you'll all get one of these little 3D prints. And I'll also include a couple of the A-Bomb 79 stickers. We got the classic there, and then we got the A-Bomb 79 sticker right there. All right, so we're gonna throw all those in the mix, and I will be working on getting all these things boxed up and contacting every one of you to make sure I have your address. And congratulations on the win. I'll be getting them out to you real soon, and I hope everybody watching enjoyed. Sorry for the guys that did not win the book, but we do have more books coming. I know that I have 2, and there may be more than that. Okay, so we're gonna have another drawing probably next week. We'll do this again. All right, hope everybody enjoyed. Thank you very much for tuning in. See you on the next video, okay? Alrighty guys, I've got the parts of the electric motor that come out of the K&T mill. So David got it all apart, cleaned it up for me, and there's definitely machine work that's got to be done to the end bells right here, and to at least to one journal here on the shaft. So we definitely had one bearing that was moving, and it's got the shaft worn down there, and the fit inside the end bells are also, they're gonna have to be sleeved, both of them. That one I believe is the worst one. This one's gonna have to be done, so this is most likely I'm gonna do a spray weld on this shaft fit right here. And this thing's been gone into before. It's had a failure, and that's probably why these fins here appear to be rubbed and bent. Some of them have a little bit of a bend to them. Though this didn't happen recently, this was in the past, which this is no big deal. These can be straightened out. On this end of the shaft right here, if you look where this bearing journal is, you can see where it had been welded up before. You can see little valleys in there from the weld bead. And right here, you can see where they struck an arc right there on top of that shoulder, and some more of those little valleys right in there where it had been welded up. So evidently this fit had gone down also and had been fixed. So I haven't mic'd anything yet, so I'll put a mic on this and see with this if it's within tolerance, and if not, I'll just do a spray weld on this side as well and bring it back to the proper size that it needs to be. And the fits that the tolerances that I use to make these fits for the shaft and for the end bells, I have a chart. It's 4 electric motor bearing fits. It gives you a minimum and a minus, so you have a tolerance to fall within for whatever specified bearing journal it is, or for whatever size bearing it is anyway. So that's what we got to do. I got the sleeves on order. Here's the bearings. We got them all cleaned up, and these are 6207 NSK. You hear it? That's one right there. Here's the other one. Not too bad. You can definitely feel it. You can feel that they're a bad bearing if you had your hands on it there, but look at the OD. You can see that there was too much not interference, there's too much clearance between the bearing and the end bell there, so there was definitely some moving going around. I can feel his balls moving around in that thing. So I've got the sleeves on order. I use some easy sleeves. I'll go grab one and show it to you. So here's one of those sleeves that I have left over that I never use. This is for a 209 or 6209 bearing. It's just wrapped up in this paper right there, but it's a cast iron sleeve, and you have some numbers on here that you can work off of if you want to, as far as the proper fit in the housing. But anyway, what I was saying is that I've got these on order today for the 6207 bearings, and we will set these end bells up and bore them out, install the sleeve, and then machine it back to size. See, that's a loose fit there. There was one of them that it would just fall in there. See how loose it is? So So we'll fix these, bring them back to size, and then we'll see about doing our spray weld on this thing right here, and then we'll polish it up, make it look good. And if I get a chance, I'll get a shot or two down at the motor shop. The stator, you know, the housing with the windings, they're going to be doing a test on those this week, and letting me know if the windings are good. Hopefully they will be good, and there's not going to be any winding work. They might have to do some more varnishing in there, recoat them, but I'll let you know how that goes there. So I think that's going to be about it. So I'll bring you back, and we'll get some more video content of the repairs on this motor right here. I think you guys will enjoy it, and I look forward to getting this thing fixed and getting it back in the milling machine.